I'm Jack Kennedy, and we're here to bring you the latest in MMA.
Hey everybody, my name's Hunter Boss, and what the boss says goes.
What is up, everyone? My name is Keelan McNamara, and you already know what time it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MMA Island podcast. I am Jack Kennedy alongside Keelan McNamara and Hunter Boss. We have a great episode lined up for you today. Let's go ahead and get started with the news. First off, we're talking about Arnold Allen got a win over Calvin Kattar. Yes, it was due to an injury. However, Arnold Allen did look good in the first round. The question here is, with featherweight being how it is, does Arnold Allen deserve a title shot after the Calvin Kattar win? Hunter, what do you think?
If this is an interim title shot, then I say yes. Why not? I think there's two perfect people you can give it to: Arnold Allen and Josh Emmett. Both are coming off of long win streaks. Both are now just recently hit the top five, and they're new blood in the division if we're being or looking at it objectively from the top five. I'd also like to see Yair Rodriguez get an opportunity to hit that interim title fight because he did great against Max Holloway. I think better than anyone thought he would do. So if Arnold Allen fought Yair Rodriguez or Josh Emmett, I would say yes, there should be an interim title shot on the line, especially since Volkanovski will be fighting at lightweight in his next fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I say there should be a title shot opportunity in his future.
Yeah, first of all, very impressive win for Arnold Allen. I really liked what I saw in the first round. And look, I'm not going to be arrogant or anything because I really hope Calvin Kattar's okay. But realistically, injury or not, I still thought Arnold Allen was going to win that fight. And I thought he was going to win the fight the way that I thought he would, with a lot of pressure and a lot of targeted attacks. So credit to Arnold Allen, he did very well. That leads on to our next question. Does he deserve a title shot? And perhaps not very originally, I agree with Hunter in this. If it's for an interim title, then yes, absolutely, he does. I think he's got the second longest featherweight win streak behind Josh Emmett, if I'm not wrong.
And Volkanovski.
Or behind Volkanovski, sorry, you're absolutely right. So if it's for an interim title, give it to Josh Emmett and Arnold Allen. I think that makes a lot of sense. Josh Emmett, you can't ignore his form. He's been too good to ignore him. Arnold Allen, his form's been ridiculous. He's beaten everybody he's faced. Give them both an interim title fight, and it clears up the division as well. Yair Rodriguez, I like the shout, and I see why you say that. The problem is, as good as he once was against Holloway, he still lost. And at the end of the day, I can't and won't give a title shot to somebody just because they look good losing. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But I do agree with you. Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, interim title. Volk's going up to 55. Why not make it happen?
Yeah, not too much to disagree with here, guys. I agree with you. I think that, I hate to judge a fight off the first round because I feel like there was a lot more to see, and I would not rule Calvin Kattar out of that fight. Even after the first round, I really think, Calvin Kattar's fighting style, he's not done at any point during the fight. And he did land a couple decent shots, but Arnold Allen looked phenomenal. He took a little time at the beginning, but really started to implement his game plan and looked great against a high-level opponent in the biggest moment of his career. So I think Arnold Allen, guys, you nailed it. Interim title shot is perfect. You got Volkanovski going up. I might be wrong about this. In fact, I probably am wrong about this, but I thought Josh Emmett and Yair Rodriguez were fighting. Is that not true? Who's Josh Emmett fighting? Not confirmed. Oh, no. I thought it was confirmed. Well, you guys nailed it. Either Josh Emmett or Yair Rodriguez. I think Yair, I could give it to him the title shot. But probably Josh Emmett is the way to go with the win streak he's been on. I would honestly be well in favor of a Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez, and then the winner of that faces Arnold Allen for the interim title shot. Just to also, take some more time with featherweight, because this thing is going to be a while Volkanovski's going to fight for the belt, so you can draw it out a little bit. But yeah, you guys nailed it. Not too much to add on. Interim title shot's the way to go, and I love Arnold Allen. He's a great fighter. Very impressed, and it was a good fight for sure.
All right, Almighty guys. Allen. All right, boys. Well, you're going to be hearing that name a lot, I feel like, in the future. So, get ready for it.
I think so.
Yeah, might as well get used to it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan. He looked amazing. All right, guys, let's go ahead and transition to our next segment, which is a Guess Who spinoff called Who Am I? Again, it's basically Guess Who, but we're changing up the way we do things. Now we're going to be asking 3 questions. We are the fighter, and the other 2 people have to guess. There's only one guess, only 3 questions. Will any of us get the fighter? Who knows? We're going to try it out right now. Hunter, who are you? Or don't tell us who you are, but
Well, Jack, I am actually a heavyweight fighter.
okay.
I fight in the heavyweight division.
Okay.
I was also at one point an NCAA Division I wrestler. Okay. And finally, I have a badass tattoo of a sword on my chest. Who am I?
I know this.
You ready? Kim, we can do it at the same time, right?
On 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Brock
Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was
nice,
really good.
Hunter.
That was actually really solid. Wouldn't have got it without the sword. Would not have got
Yeah.
it without the sword.
I
That
was going to
really
say Curtis Blades or someone until you said the sword. So that was good, Hunter. I like where you went with that.
good. Yeah. All right,
So
Keelan.
am I up next?
Yes, let's do it.
Alrighty, I think you guys are going to like this one because, guys, a little bit of side context about us on the podcast. We're all big movie fans, so keep that in mind.
Conor McGregor.
I am from the land of 205 pounds. I'm a light heavyweight.
I know who this is already.
I am from Northern Europe.
Oh, I don't know who this is.
I share a nickname with a very famous movie character. Who am I?
I got to guess. I'll guess. But is
Wait.
it
Go
Okay.
for it. Go for it.
okay? Alexander Gustafsson, the Mauler.
Nope.
Ah,
From Northern Europe?
Yep. Jack, you have a guess.
205 from Northern Europe.
hmm.
I thought you were going to say Rampage Jackson. I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction. I thought you were going to say because he was in the A team and Expendables and stuff. I feel like this is someone obvious that we're not getting.
I'll give you another clue, okay? Because that can be interpreted a couple of ways. So, Hunter, I'll give you another guess as well after this, just to see if you can guess
Okay.
it. I'm in the top 10
Okay.
currently.
Hmm.
I don't know. Bologna Ivanov. What's his
Lugoy
name?
Ivanov.
No.
He's not in the top 10.
No, funny enough, it isn't. Hunter, do you want one more guess?
Shit. I mean, I can make a fool of myself if that's what you want.
You can't top that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go with Volkan Ozdemir.
It's not. Shall I reveal him?
Yep,
Yes.
let's do it.
Gentlemen, my name is Paul Burdew Craig.
Oh, that's
Ah.
a good one.
Oh, Craig.
That's a good
The
one.
Bear
When you
Jew.
said-
I like it. I
when
like
you said
it.
Northern Europe, I imagine like Scandinavia. So I
Yeah, I
wasn't
was
even
not
thinking
thinking
that at all.
Scotland.
That's
No.
a great
Well, I
idea.
consider where we're from technically Northern Europe, so that's why
That's
I
fair.
gave you another thing. And
For
of
sure.
course, Burdew, Inglorious Bastards,
Yes,
Donny
yes.
Donowitz. So
Very good.
That was really good, Keelan. I was not expecting that. That was great.
I like this game. This is fun.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for this?
Let's
do it.
do it.
I am currently ranked number 9 in the UFC men's featherweight division. I am from, I don't know why I wrote this one. I am from the UFC. That was a part of
Well, thanks, Jack.
Yes, okay, I got it.
This is the big one. Let's see if you get this. I starred in a car dealership commercial.
Starred in a car dealership commercial, huh? All right, I'll make my guess. You're from the UFC. You
Oh.
starred in a car dealership organization.
I didn't mean to write from UFC. I'm just realizing this. I'm kind of stupid. Rerun that second one. I'm from the USA. I'm from the USA.
Oh,
That's
that
my
changes
second.
everything. Okay, never mind. Hold on.
It was 2 letters.
Healy, you got one?
You want to go first, Hunter, or do you want me to go first?
I don't have a guess yet. So if you have a guess, you can
Number
All right.
nine
speak
at
into that.
featherweight from the
I
United States.
I have an idea, but I don't know if he's fallen this low or not. That's what's throwing me. You know
Oh, I
what?
have my guess too when you're ready.
I'll make my guess anyway, and then we'll see what Hunter has. Now, I am going to guess that it's Brian Ortega because he was in a commercial for Toyo tires.
No.
I'm gonna
Well,
go. This is some strange Nebraskan commercial or wherever he's from, and I'm gonna go Bryce Mitchell.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, wow,
Yes.
well done, Hunter. Hey, that was well done.
He
I
was in
didn't.
a car commercial.
Yeah. Well, it was for a car dealership. It was the one where it's like, he drilled his nut sack off or whatever, and he's like, if I
Oh
had
yeah.
the car to drive
Oh,
there faster, I could have saved it. Yeah. You remember? You've never seen that before?
I was trying to think of some like
fair
Toyo
enough.
Tires commercial or something like that
Nah.
with Forrest Griffin or Dominic Cruz or
It's
something
like
like that. I'm like,
super low production. It's fantastic. I love
that's
it.
That
funny.
does not shock me.
I
Well
didn't give
drilled
you
it
guys any
doesn't.
favors. I apologize. I
No,
really
no, no, that's
bullshitted.
okay. I was thinking Giga Chikadze, and then you're like, he's from America. I'm like, oh, hold on, hold on.
Pico would do that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We have one more segment to talk about today. Our, biannual. Wait, does that make sense? Twice a year. We talk about Jake Paul usually. So it's our Jake Paul segment. He fought Anderson Silva and won. Hunter, what did you think about this performance from Jake Paul and just the fight in general?
That was a little bit lackluster, to be honest. I predicted a knockout from Jake Paul, and when I didn't get that knockout, I know he got the knockdown in the last round, but it kind of showed me that Jake Paul isn't nearly as high of a skill level as we thought he was. In those fans who might have thought he was higher than he is. You see, he's calling out Floyd Mayweather, and he's calling out a bunch of high skilled opponents. But if you can't beat a 47-year-old, or you can't knock out a 47-year-old Anderson Silva, who, let's be honest, has been prone to getting knocked out lately in his last 7 UFC fights, um, it's not a good sign. So I think he needs to stick to fighting YouTubers because that's what's going to make him the big revenue. If he goes out of his comfort zone and starts fighting fighters like he did with Anderson Silva, and those who can strike, I should say, I shouldn't just say fighters, but those who can genuinely strike, I think he's going to actually find a lot of trouble and a lot of trouble up that tree he's been barking up. I liked the bet though. I thought that was a really smart bet that he made. Did you guys hear what the bet was?
I did.
Yeah.
If Anderson Silva won, then they would do an MMA fight. Boom, it's more publicity for him. If Anderson Silva lost, which he did, they have to start an organization. I think it was called like the United Fighters Alliance or something strange like that, in which they would start keeping track of fighter pay and holding promoters accountable for how little they may pay their fighters, which is also smart for Jake Paul. I mean, it's not what we want to hear because we know he doesn't genuinely care about fighter pay. But if he's going out on a basis like this and he's speaking in front of millions of people saying he's going to hold people accountable, I think this will do more good than it does harm. So the fight itself was a little lackluster, but the implications are well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I kind of thought that I'd be coming on to today's episode basically wanting to punch a hole through my wall as I normally am talking about Jake Paul. And surprisingly, I'm actually not as much. And the reason why I am perhaps as zen like as you've ever seen me is actually for a lot of the reasons Hunter mentioned. Yes, Jake Paul won, fair enough to him, he did whatever, but he was made to work really, really hard by a 47-year-old middle-aged man who's been knocked out in, as Jack said, something like 7 of his last 8 UFC fights. Now, whilst it is obviously a negative that my favorite fighter ever lost to Jake Paul, there are actually positives to take from this if you can look at them clearly enough. I think the single biggest issue that Jake Paul is going to have against any moderately level good boxer is his gas tank. And I think the reason he's going to have that problem is that he's a very big guy to his credit. We're probably all around the same height as Jake, but Jake's obviously very stocky. He uses that to his advantage, and that's fair enough. The thing is, I didn't watch the full fight. Just to be clear, I catched a couple of the highlights, but I did not see the full fight. But from what I did see, Anderson was able to make him sweat a lot just by manipulating movement around the ring. And Jake was starting to breathe very heavily towards the end of the fight. And realistically, it's a bit like Sean O'Malley, Peter Yan. The knockdown is what won Jake that fight. I've seen a lot of people online, probably more qualified than myself, say that there's arguments that Anderson may have won the fight. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm
There
simply
are
telling
no
you.
arguments. There should be no arguments that
Well,
Anderson won the fight.
I'm
If
simply
anything,
telling
Jake
you.
won every round except for one,
I'm
I
simply
don't know
telling
about
you what
that.
I saw.
maybe two.
I'm not making a point one way or the other. I'm just saying what I saw. I didn't I'm like Arsene Wenger in 2006. I did not see it. But the point that I am making is I think what we've learned about Jake is yes, he's beat Anderson Silva, and yes, he'll take credit for that, which he probably deserves on some level. But any half good fighter is going to put him on his ass. Realistically, they're going to test him. They're going to actually hit him hard, and he's going to run out of gas. That's the problem. And a lot of people might watch this or watch a similar critique and say, "Oh, but Keelan or whoever, he's gonna get better. His gas tank's gonna get better as he goes on." People have said that about Conor McGregor his entire career. And the problem with that is that some fighters are just built for power and some are built for durability. Jake Paul is built for power. He's not built to go 10, 12 rounds, whatever it is. He is built to go in there and do a Ben Askren number and knock you out in the first 2, 3 rounds and then go home again. So the point that I'm making here to round off my portion of this is good win, fair enough. You did whatever it was, but aside from, I mean, I think he'll probably fight Tommy Fury next, and that's the reports that I've seen. But I think if he fights anybody who semi knows what they're doing, he's gonna get flattened.
Yeah, that's all fair. I mean, it was honestly, I feel like there was a lot of 50-50 rounds during the fight because it was like, what do you judge? Because Jake Paul was throwing a little bit more, but all the strikes landed were about dead even, and Anderson Silva was putting more on of a show. Look, to be honest with you, you guys nailed it. It's the thing was when we talk about this, this is a 47-year-old Anderson Silva who is, I mean, well past his prime. Um, and Jake Paul, I think the only way you're walking away from this where it's like, okay, Jake Paul, that was a great win, is if he knocks him out, is if he knocks out Anderson Silva, which he
Probably.
didn't do. And it took him to the last round where Anderson Silva was literally going forward basically with his chin in the air to even drop Anderson Silva. And even that wasn't a really bad drop. Anderson Silva got up from it, really no problem. So I think taken away from this is just that, like, Jake Paul, I do not think that if he fights someone who's an actual boxer, even still, I don't think he'll win. He called out, I think, Nate Diaz of the next fight they're going to target. I've seen reports about that, and that's what he called him out.
They had that backstage altercation too.
That's right, they
And
did.
he'll probably beat Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz is 37 and he's not known for his boxing defense. Let's just say that. But it will be interesting because Nate Diaz will push the pace and won't get tired. That is something that's interesting. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, I don't know. It's like the facade keeps going and it's fun. He is solid. He is a solid boxer. He has improved tremendously. But I want to see him. I want to see him tested. You know, I want to see him tested. And fighting a 47-year-old Anderson Silva is not exactly the baseline of where I want to see Jake Paul at. I mean, that's all I got to kind of say about it. It's just like, Hunter, you nailed it. Kind of lackluster. It's always something to watch, but I mean, Arnold Allen, Calvin Cater, if Calvin Cater didn't get injured, would have been the
Way
should have
better.
been the all eyes should have been on that fight.
Tune into Cage Titans instead of all that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Cage Titans
They,
put on
they
a
put on
great
a
event.
good card.
They put on a fantastic event.
Oh yeah. The one thing, guys, I will say, sorry, Jack, go on ahead. I didn't
No,
mean
I'm
to
done.
interrupt.
I'm done.
No, the one thing I will say about this whole Jake Paul thing is I think the next fight for Jake Paul should actually be KSI. And I don't know how much you guys know about
Oh,
him or
we know. Yeah, we know
oh
KSI.
you are okay then that's all right then. The reason why I think that is the fight to make is that KSI is obviously in terms of boxing ability nothing close to like a decent amateur. Okay, I think we all know that. But the one thing KSI will test Jake Paul on is actual pressure, like Anderson Silva did. And the difference between KSI, I can't even believe I'm comparing KSI and Anderson Silva in anything, But here goes, we're a podcast of firsts. The thing that KSI will do is that KSI will throw like a madman against Jake Paul. And if he actually connects, because KSI is powerful, he can actually deliver power when he hits. If KSI swarms Jake Paul and he hits him, I actually think you have a more interesting fight with those two than arguably with Nate Diaz. Because realistically, if Nate Diaz wins, Jake's going to say, so what, UFC veteran, Golden Gloves champion back in the day, whatever it is. And then if Nate Diaz loses, it's another washed fighter. You know, at the end of the day for Jake, there's only so many washed fighters he can go through before people see through the facade. It works for Floyd Mayweather, but it works for Floyd Mayweather because Floyd Mayweather was 50-0. He's, as much as I don't like Floyd Mayweather, he's kind of earned the right to enter the circus. Jake Paul is doing everything the opposite way around. He's joining the circus first, hoping it will make him a legitimate professional. And that's not the way it works, Jake. You've got this assified face, as we say. You've got to do it the right way first and then go into the circus. You don't go into the circus and come out a world champion. That's never going to happen. Although, being how corrupt boxing is, it probably will happen. What do I know? But the point that I'm making is I think KSI Jake Paul is the fight to make. I think it will probably be the end of YouTube boxing and mainstream news because it can't get any bigger than that. Both guys will get ludicrously rich off of it, and it'll be a decent scrap.
Hey, KSI be a professional boxer, Keelan. Put some respect on his name.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
fights in
Luis
one night.
Pineda. And Swarms.
He beat like a 1-4 professional boxer who was like half his size. That was hilarious.
That was the worst thing ever.
You know, I wouldn't hate that Nate Diaz fight, and I wouldn't count Nate Diaz out fast
Dude,
at
Nate
all.
Diaz will not stop going forward.
He's
He will
unlike
not
any
stop.
fighter that Jake will ever fight.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Just because you're probably not going to knock down Nate Diaz, if we're being honest here.
100%.
I mean, he's got a chin, unlike many others. But his volume and the pace he would set to go against Jake Paul, you and I both know he's gonna fade come round 6, especially against the Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
that is true.
So I think we would be in for a grueling and actually really entertaining fight.
I think so too. Because
completely honest,
100%.
and Diaz, it makes sense because Diaz is trending right now, right? When's the next time Diaz is gonna actually trend as he is right now? If we wait to do this fight in a year. Maybe it'll build up hype, but it could just do the opposite effect and be like, oh, well, Nate Diaz, who cares about that guy? He doesn't fight anymore, and he hasn't fought in forever. But
and he's a year
I
older.
think the time to do the fight is now.
And he's just out of the UFC. He's probably not going to go back to MMA. Now's the time. I agree with you guys. Well, fantastic podcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. As always, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. You can listen to us everywhere, literally everywhere, including iTunes and Spotify. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at mma.island.pod and check out our website, mmaisland.net. Great podcast, guys. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.